What's better, $1,000 a week in rent or a property that doubles in value every 10 years? Too many investors chase the wrong thing because they don't understand the difference between positive cash flow and negative gearing. So let me break this down for you simply and honestly so you can make smarter property decisions. Hey everyone, my name is Nick. I'm a director here at Handle Properties, and we're a boutique buyers agency, and we've helped clients transact just over $80 million worth of property deals. And personally, I've built a $5 million property portfolio myself. What makes us different is that you'll work directly with me, no random associates. We're a small, focused group serious about results. So if you want to chat, submit your details here at handleproperties.com and we'll get cracking. So back to the topic. What is gearing? Let's start with the basics. Gearing basically means you're borrowing money to buy an investment. That's all it is. And if you've got a loan on a property, guess what? You're geared. However, if the rent covers exactly your mortgage interest repayments and all of the other expenses along the way, such as council rates and water rates, that is what we call neutrally geared, because all that comes in is basically covering all that comes out. But however, if your rent is more than your expenses, so you make more rent than all of the ongoing expenses to hold and operate the property, your property is positively geared. And if your rent is less than your expenses, that property is negatively geared. So why can negative gearing be a smart choice for long-term growth? Negative gearing is really common in blue chip areas. Think Double Bay or Bondi, where the home might cost $5 million to own, but it only rents for $2,000 or $2,500 a week. That's a rental yield of about 2 to 3%. And why is it so low? It's because demand is through the roof. People want to rent in Bondi, and there's also limited supply. So therefore, prices are sky high. And therefore, if you are looking to be an investor in one of these blue chip areas, you're not going to make the money off rent. You're going to make the money over time through capital growth because that demand is just sustained and long term. Now, on the flip side, you've got positive gearing, where you can go out to areas like Moranbah in Queensland, a true mining town. You can buy a house there for $300,000 to $400,000, but rent it out for $1,000 a week. That's more than 10% yield. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. It's a town with 60% renters where almost everyone is working for the same mine. And guess what? The mine actually funds the rental repayments. All of these big yielding properties, they're actually tenanted to the mine so that they can house their miners. The issue is, if that company leaves, there's commodity cycle changes and all of a sudden coal is no longer fashionable or profitable to extract out of the ground. Guess what? That mine is shutting down. And let's be real. A 10% yield in a shithole is still a 10% yield in a shithole. I don't know about you, but I would rather be in that blue chip area. But where we focus on as balanced investors is finding the middle ground. At Handle Properties, we focus on something smarter. The middle ground, where you can still buy into capital cities or large regional hubs, where the yields are actually stronger at about 4 to 5%, potentially even 6%. And why? It's because it balances cash flow and growth. These areas still have tight supply and strong demand, and they're in growth corridors of growing metropolitan areas. And especially if you are looking to buy an investment property in that $400K to $1 million budget, this is where we focus on. Having a good balance of yield and capital growth allows you to hold a larger portfolio for longer, and larger portfolios over a longer period of time means larger amounts of growth. A 10% growth on a $400K portfolio is only $40K, but 10% growth on a $1 million portfolio is $100K. That's a huge difference materially. And also, when you buy in strong growth corridors, you can boost the yield even more by adding value such as a granny flat or even minor renovation work, where you convert a 3-bedroom into a 4-bedroom or a single bathroom into a double bathroom. All of these things can boost the yield over the longer term and add value to your portfolio. So in summary, if you're working in a budget of $400 to $1 million, look for slightly negatively geared properties to start with 4 to 5% yields in those metro or large regional areas. These are growth corridors where your property can really appreciate and where you don't need to bleed money each month. And also, these are areas where rent can increase over time. You might buy the property today with a 4 or 5% rental yield, but fast forward 3 to 5 years, you might be up to 7 or 8% rental yield on cost. And that's when your property portfolio actually starts getting more and more positively geared. Stick to that and you won't lose money. And guess what? That is the golden rule. Just do not lose money. So if you want to see the actual checklist that we use to find these suburbs, just comment the word handle below and I'll send it directly to you. It's the same list we use to build multi-million-dollar portfolios for ourselves and our clients.